Are you ready?
Yes. All ready.
Are you ready for Christmas time? Are you ready for Jesus?
Yes.
And are you ready for whatever happens next?
Yes.
Probably, if you're anything like me, the answer at least to one of those is no.
Which one?
I'm prepared for a few things. I'm prepared for some things, but so much is going on that I'm far from ready, and I always feel a little behind. A bit like the child when the person playing hide and seek sounds, I'm coming ready or not, and you're like, my foot's still sticking out. And Matthew asks us in the reading, are you ready? Are you ready for the next coming of Jesus? I don't know how familiar you are with the passage. There were some comments as it was read. But here are things that I've heard said that just aren't true. That the non-believers will be taken away. It doesn't say that. That people will be sorted based on a predetermined rule set. It doesn't say that. That people will disappear. No, it doesn't talk about captures by aliens. That it's the second coming. It actually doesn't say that either. That it's called the rapture. It doesn't say that. That's what it's been called by people. So what does it say? That Jesus will come again? Yes. That some will be taken and some left? Yes. That we should be ready? Yes. That it will be unexpected? Yes. So what does it mean? Well, I think it could mean a lot of things. It could be talking about Jesus coming and collecting another set of disciples, taking one or two at a time, as he did when he called the first 12. It could be talking about a plague or another disease that will literally take one or two without warning. It could be talking about many, many future comings. But what do I know for sure? I know that Jesus was a rebel. He consistently showed up when not expected.
He's so popular with alcohol.
He showed up.
Carry on. Please carry on.
Jesus was a rebel.
Yeah.
Jesus was a rebel. He showed up when he wasn't expected. He showed up and spoke to people he officially shouldn't have, because it wasn't fashionable, popular, or socially acceptable. He did things that weren't expected. So maybe, just maybe, in the 2,000 years since the Bible was written and Matthew wrote his Gospel, Jesus has come several times, and we're still waiting, and he will come again, because it's not a once and done deal. So are you ready? Are you ready for the Jesus who broke the rules?
Yes. We want a rebel.
Today in Brighton and around the world, there's a memorial event for those who died from the HIV/AIDS pandemic. The story of that pandemic is one in which, in my lifetime, we've gone from a silent killer that no one understands to a disease that still kills, but is understood and preventable. It's hard sometimes to see in the bad times, but I believe that Jesus shows up in the worst of times and helps us, walks beside us, chooses some of us to do specific things and others to be the witnesses. When AIDS hit the cities where MCC, this church, was, we were Jesus' hands and feet. We comforted the sick, the dying and the grieving, and we still do. We cleared houses and flats where family wouldn't go in. We became the family. We buried strangers and friends, those that we loved, those that we never knew, and the lost. We believe, and I believe, that Jesus walked amongst us then. We weren't ready for what came, but we became ready for what was happening. Our MCC story is not unique. In this city, the community came together to care for each other, and still does, to support those who grieved and those who are now long-term survivors. We weren't ready, but we became ready. So are we ready now? Are we ready to answer God's call to work in this city? Are we ready to leave everything and follow God? Are we ready to support the survivors of HIV and AIDS in this city? Are we ready to be Jesus' hands and feet as we work to stop the next pandemic? Are we ready to care for the sick and left behind? Today, this city is fast approaching zero. Zero new infections, zero new diagnoses, and zero preventable deaths. But as we do, so we still remember those who died along the way.
God bless our souls. I'm so I've missed so much. Oh, bless.
You know what? That was absolutely lovely.
It's beautiful.
Yes, that was a lovely.
She hasn't finished.
That was lovely.
She hasn't finished.
Because she was rebel. You know, people forget that.
We still need to support those who are now suffering the effects of 35 years of viral load and treatments. We need to support those who are newly diagnosed. We need to support those who still live with stigma and ignorance. We need to support those who never expected to still be alive and aren't ready for old age. Are we ready? Are we ready to campaign for healthcare that prioritises prevention and treatment around the world so that everyone can get to zero? In Africa and Asia, the challenge is infection. In America, the challenge is healthcare, one of the richest countries in the world. Are we prepared to do the same for other diseases? I think some of us are, but globally we're not. So I come back to the bit in the reading where it said, one will be taken and one left behind, and be ready. It's unpalatable unless we think about what it means. I genuinely believe that since that time the world has changed in one huge respect. Our communications are so fast and so widespread that we know what happened this morning in London, Lagos and Lisbon as much as we know what happened here at the level. So when God speaks to us and says, come follow me and be my hands and feet, we know what that need is. We don't necessarily need to leave in order to follow. We know the need here at the level. We know the need in London. We know the need around the world. We don't need to leave our homes to see need and to respond. We don't need to leave our friends. But we do need to be ready to hear the call of God. We need to be ready to see Jesus in Christmas, the love in Christmas, the family and friends in Christmas, not just the gifts. We need to make time to be ready, time to hear God, time to see the rebel Jesus who showed up where he wasn't expected, because that rebel is coming. Amen.
God bless you.